You're watching The Tesla Life with your host, Mark Coughlin.
On the 11th of January 2023. Welcome to the show. And Casey has got a baby hidden somewhere. Oh, there it is. There's the baby. There it is. There's the baby. So joining us today, as always, is Casey and Moto. How are you today, sir?
We're doing okay, but Moto says Daddy's not allowed to laugh.
Oh, that's
a problem. Because, my jovial personality.
That could be a problem tonight. Gonna have to keep a frown on his face the entire show. That's not going to work too well. Also joining us, we have Mr. Patrick Goner from the West Coast. How are you today, sir? I'm
good. Hello, Tesla Nation, and welcome to our gigawatt hour of fun.
A gigawatt hour. I'd say it's at least 10 gigawatts. It's not
well,
one.
It is an hour. So
yeah. Not just one.
It's not a 10-hour show. This isn't Casey on Sundays.
That's right.
Trying to make you laugh.
So last week we talked about doing some predictions. We talked about how we did in 2022 with predictions. And we said for everyone to take a week and kind of think about production numbers, and we would take down some of that information. Now, Patrick has been gung-ho about this. He wanted to give production numbers last week. So that's right. I'm going to give him the ability to give. Would you like to do your number first, Patrick, or would you like to do it later in? Your choice.
I'd like the audience. So we've got Dana and Derek out there. Let's let them go first. And then we can do ours. If there's anybody in the chat who wants to throw their production guess in the chat there.
Okay.
Mark will get him in the spreadsheet. And
this, of course, is production. So not sales, number of cars produced in 2023 total throughout the company. Last year, those guesses were anywhere between 1.3 million and top end was 1.8 million, it looks like. So I
thought we had somebody who was over 2 million last year, but
I'm sorry, right. David G was 2.2 million, correct?
There we go.
So that is there. Oh, Derek's in with first bid, and Derek is indicating that he would like it to be a 1.44 million. Okay, so
not 1.420.
Derek, you are in for that particular. Dana, you have to just give us a bid. Come on, you gotta be able to give. You heard what last year was. It's probably going to be higher than last year, so go ahead, give us one. And we'll take bids throughout the show for 2022 production. I'm ready with mine.
Okay,
I'm ready with mine.
Okay. So we okay to do that, Patrick, or do you want to wait?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's get them all on the spreadsheet. We've got one from Dana.
So I'm going to say I'm going on the top end. I think I'm going to say it's 2.12 million.
All right.
Nice.
So that's going to be fairly high, but I'm optimistic about 2023. Okay, and Dana's come in with a bid of 1.69. That's competitive.
Nice. Very nice.
That's definitely competitive. And we'll add that to the spreadsheet because there was no bid from Dana last year, so I'm just adding them to the spreadsheet. Okay. Casey, what do you think?
Okay, so I'm going to build on David because they're at that 2.2 right now. So I know if I say 2.2, that would be good. Yeah, it's run rate. So I'm going to say 4 million. for the run rate.
What? No, not a run rate. This is not a run rate. This is production. This is what they actually produce.
Okay, so write down 4 million run rate, and then write down 3.3 million built.
Oh,
wow.
3.3 million.
3.3 million per case.
Wow.
With our run rate of 4 million.
Yeah, and I'm including semi, even if Tesla never does.
Well, might complicate things. We can't get the semi numbers.
Oh, I'm saying, like, you know, whatever number we have, hopefully it comes from them and just gets bundled in. But if not, we'll just go with the last thing we heard and we'll add that to that's I'm counting semi.
As a shareholder, I really hope Casey wins this.
Absolutely. I can think of a lot of Tesla executives that would really like that number to happen.
Yeah. So Tesla's general guidance has been 50% growth year over year. So they did 1.369 in 2022. So doing the 50% more math on that is 2.05. So that's their guidance, is just over 2 million. We got everybody on this show was super optimistic, and Paul Guzik ended up getting the right number because he was a little more pessimistic than us. And there's going to be so close to 2 million, but who knows what's going to happen this year? There's been, supply chain problems, pandemic issues, all kinds of things that have plagued them in the past, and who knows what force majeure is going to hit this year. So I don't want Paul to do better than us. So I'm going to go lower.
A literal Sharknado.
Yeah. So that would be so bad. That movie was horribly, awesomely funny. In 2021, when they almost got 2 million, they did 930,000. So I'm going to add 1 million to that, and so 1.93 is my guess.
1.93 million.
I'm guessing that in that I will be under. That's what I'm hoping to be, is under.
And of course, it doesn't matter over under in our poll here. Whoever's closest wins. So you can be over or under by that amount.
I'm going to be over.
But just by 5 cars.
Awesome.
That'd be nice.
So if you're in the chat room and you'd like to put in your bid, please put them in throughout the show and alert us to it, and we will get it added to the spreadsheet.
And if you want to cheat, you can go to carswithquarters.net and see a whole bunch of calculations on there, because that's what today's post is about. Is this going to be Tesla's 2 million year? And I think it is, which is
well, you didn't bet on that.
I didn't, right? Because like I said, I'm betting to be under.
You're betting to be under. Okay.
Yep.
Fair enough. Well, let's get to the news, because there is a ton of news. No surprise there. And first, I'd like to start with a story I'm not surprised about at all. There was a posting on a number of the socials of the Pepsi TeslaSemi being towed in traffic in Central California. And what I found funny was the response from a number of people. There was a bunch of people that were quite adamant that it was a Photoshop photo, or it was somehow faked, or the other side of the coin, there was a bunch of people going, I knew that was going to happen. Like, it's only the truck's unreliable, blah, blah, blah. It'll never work. It was completely left and right. And what is amazing here is that we've got a brand new platform that is now being tested in the real world. Mm-hmm. And it's actually pulling loads for a company that specializes in a lot of deliveries for their products. Yep. So I am not surprised at all that Pepsi and Frito-Lay later in the week was caught being towed as well. So they're
the second one too?
Yeah, wow. Second one. So there is the problem that Tesla is going to learn firsthand in a brand new category about their trucks. And Patrick mentioned this just last week, that the reason that Pepsi got a 34 trucks and is going to receive another 66 or so is that they've agreed to live through the trial period. They have agreed that, yes, we will live with the pain. We know there'll be some scheduling problems. We'll have to reassign trucks and things of that nature, because this is a brand new truck and a brand new way of delivering goods. And there's going to be hiccups along the way. So seeing one
and
or
even
two,
if there weren't, they also are helping to train the technicians while getting training for their own technicians, as well as helping to write the service manual.
So having these people flip out on both sides, like, come on, it's silly. We knew that there was going to be issues with this. We called it out last week. We knew that there were going to be pitfalls and successes with this. And seeing a truck being towed is just one of those things that we're going to see happen for the first little while, and is most likely the reason that Tesla didn't pick a dozen or 24 companies to give the truck to that were all over the place. As we've seen with the Model 3 rollout and with other vehicles, they first like to give the cars to their employees. Get a fleet of those on the road. Now with the truck, not possible. Not a lot of their employees are picking a semi to be their go get them drive around town vehicle. So
but they were dog fooding it some, where they used it to go to Giga Nevada and back.
Right. But
well, I mean, when you look at most of their customers buying Model 3 and Model Y, that's quite a step up to purchase the price of even the 2017 price of a semi.
Yeah, so you're not going to have that. So you need someone in the industry that's going to use it and be able to feed you the data and allow you to track the performance of these things in a real life situation. And Pepsi has agreed to do that. And they're probably being compensated in a few ways for doing that. So that's just the way it's going to be. So I hope to see that, of course, we're not seeing Pepsi trucks being towed all over the place every day, but there are going to be some hiccups as they go along, and Tesla is going to work to correct them, because of course they're going to want to start delivering those trucks to other customers outside of PepsiCo. And the quicker they can get some of these issues ironed out and understand how the vehicles are going to operate in real life trucking companies, the quicker the better. So it's just something that we're going to have to keep our eye on, just the way it is.
Right. Yeah. So I know SpaceX is a different company, but they share a lot of the same philosophy. And so if that company's willing to blow up rockets to learn how where the faults are and what needs to be fixed, what makes you think they wouldn't deliver a truck and then put it through the ringer and see where it fails?
I mean, didn't we see a prototype get towed like 2 days before the delivery event? So I mean.
Yes, right. Yeah. Around here, one of the famous EVs is the White Zombie, and it was able to do a quarter mile. It had a sub 2 second 0 to 60. It was doing quarter miles in under 10 seconds, and this was a decade ago. So before Raven and before Tesla ever got even close to these numbers, this guy built this home car that just crushed as an EV. It was awesome. And I was talking to him about it, and I'm like, how did you engineer all this? He goes, well, we put everything in there. We thought it was right. We took it to the track, run it like hell. Something would break, and that's what we would then beef up for the next round. And he got a really awesome car out of doing it that way. So yeah, you can do all the math you want, but until you put it to the test in the real world, you're not really going to know. And that's exactly what Tesla's doing here with their partner Pepsi. So yeah, so everybody who was like, "No, it's fake," or "No,
it's photoshopped,"
they aren't. This is expected. This is the way that Tesla does things, and it's not like other companies. So this is, like we said, it was very predictable. They're going to learn.
How many other companies could withstand any downtime? Even though they know it's a new truck and unproven, blah blah blah. How many of them? Like you got Pepsi and you got Coke. Everything else, like the FedEx, UPS, Walmart, they all need their stuff on time. So They can't be the guinea pig.
Right. Yeah. Picking the right partner is crucial. Yeah. And with these, drop the trailer and take another vehicle and go.
Yeah. So expect some of these things, but let's not call out things like it's never going to work, or
right.
On the other side, this is a complete conspiracy theory. This has been set up to look like the truck's being towed. It's not
going to be pleasant the first time one of these gets into a crash or when one of them catches fire. We won't hear the end of it.
Right. Yeah.
Is autopilot on?
Yeah, exactly.
This is part of the culture. It's expected.
Our next story is a bit of a photo as well. So let me share that, and I can have a little bit of a discussion about this photo. Share, boom. Here it is.
Yeah.
So this is a new supercharger that's been built recently in Denmark. And I just wanted to get the consensus here about this different type of design. We do have an entry and an exit point on either side of the cabinets down here at the bottom. So to the left and to the right of the cabinets looks like the entry and exit area for this particular supercharger. But besides it's a fairly large one. What do we've got here? We've got probably about 20 units. And 28. And what we've got is also the ability to back in as traditional stalls almost always are. And we've got this pull-through ability in the center. Mm-hmm. The whole thing's kind of set up like a plus sign, it looks like.
It is.
So you've got this ability where the pull-through is maybe for trailers or Cybertrucks. Again, this is Denmark. Mm-hmm. Cybertrucks aren't going to Denmark for a while. Right. But certainly they're going to have campers because Europe is big on caravans. So that's a thing. I just thought that maybe the pull around into them with a trailer might be a little bit tight.
That's what I was looking at. But like if you could enter from the left and the right, past whatever car is charging, then it would be spot on for most trailers that Model X can pull. But like you said, Cybertruck isn't a thing over there yet. But if this is also one of the ones that's open to the public, if anybody else comes out with a towable a van that can tow, because obviously none of the pickup trucks are over there yet. But if anybody comes up with a van that can tow over there, then they might need a little bit more length, or that truck may have the charge port in the wrong spot, and then it just works out perfectly.
Yeah. Well, with the ones that are pull through, that gives them the flexibility, especially if they're non-Teslas, that you can pretty well maneuver around and get yourself a charge spot without too much of an issue. But I haven't seen this. I've seen either pull throughs or back charges, and of course the back charges here for the back of the cars, the ones that are on the outside of the plus signs. You'll notice that they're faced so that the car can drive in beside them. Most of them here in North America are flat, that you back up to a flat charger as opposed to it sitting in the middle of between stalls.
Yeah, typically if they're oriented this way in America, they'll be at the end of the spot, and you'll drive in, and those are the worst ones.
They'd be up here.
Yeah, they'd be up there, and they'd be oriented that way, so you could drive past them. But typically, we have a few of them like this where you back in and they're angled, but that's not common in the North America to see them oriented that way for a back in.
So
because they get run into. People back into them.
I can see
with the big old camera and the guidelines, they still manage to mess it up.
So, okay, I have to comment here because this is brand new and it's got every spot available. There's one car they're charging. And of course, it's charging at a pull-through spot that it does not need.
On a trailer, there's no bikes on it. Exactly.
Well,
in fact, it doesn't even matter on this one because the way the things are oriented.
So you'll also notice that this obviously is a drone shot. And guess what? The guy over here, he's flying the drone.
Yes.
And that's his car.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. But my point is that these pull-through slots, the people that need them, because they have trailers or campers or whatever they're pulling. They need them, and because dropping your camper or trailer or whatever is a real pain if it's even an option. So just a little PSA: don't use a pull-through spot unless you need it. If there's other spots available, back-in spots, take one of those, please.
Yeah, same goes for the nose-in spots at the other locations that have 1 or 2 nose-ins.
Right, same applies. Yes.
I often see like a Model 3 right up in there, or just like a Model S, and it's like, what are you gonna do when a Model Y or Model X shows up towing something?
Mm-hmm.
Or with the bike rack attached. They're gonna do like that guy in Florida. Oh, you're lucky I was done eating. Let me take another 15 minutes.
We saw in the Twitter comments that Anthony C. replied back, nothing really new here. The charging stations located at the Outlet Mall in Seaside, Oregon was set up this way.
Right.
Yes. Yep. I've been there a few times, and there are pull-through spots in the mall parking lot, which is really nice.
But to see them do it again,
it doesn't have these extras, right? It doesn't have the around the pull-through spots.
Right.
This is like a combination that is something that I haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
If you want to get a nice density of charging spots, this is a good way to do it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why they have like 6 on the left side but only 3 on the right. Why would
it's like they ran out of concrete?
I think it's because look at the one down by the units. I think it's a matter of if somebody is towing, they should pick the first one or the last one so they inconvenience the least amount of people.
Correct. Yes.
Like if they're towing and they don't want to drop or can't drop, like me with the U-Hauls.
Right, because with those pull-through spots, the way they have it, you're going to take 2 superchargers.
Right.
I would have thought if they were if this was being designed for pull-throughs for somebody that's towing, that they may have dropped a row of these in the middle and just spread them out a little further, so there was more room to maneuver a trailer to go by them.
Yeah.
Well, there will be after the trailers hit a few and knock them over.
After the first trailer goes through, then there'll be plenty of room. Yeah.
No, don't think that's
Patrick,
fun.
the optimist in the show. You can tell. So.
Yeah, we'll make room. No problem.
No problem at all. Next, Casey's got an update from Giga Shanghai.
Yes. So Giga Shanghai delivered 54% of all Tesla vehicles produced in 2022.
Wow.
That's incredible. From that one little plant, corner of the world.
54% of all Tesla vehicles produced in 2022. So over half.
That one not so little plant, you mean?
In that one gigantic
little plant that could.
There we go. That's the right word.
But there's the power of it, right? Like there's a facility that's not producing just for the second largest auto market in the world, but it's also producing cars for Australia and other countries that are within reach of that plant. And
everybody but Taiwan.
Everyone but Taiwan
and India
for obvious reasons. Yeah.
Yes.
But that's a staggering number. I wonder. Well, with Berlin and with Texas starting to scale up, I gotta believe that number will drop for next year.
If percentage-wise, I agree.
Yeah, percentage-wise, yeah, absolutely. I think that number will go up, but the percentage will go down. And I suspect that this year we'll see Austin and Berlin do something very similar to this right here.
Right. So, and that's why Casey predicted 3.3 million, because he thinks Austin and Berlin are going to go through the roof. And like I said, I hope you're right, buddy. I really, really do.
Yeah. So we do have a wild card. Tom Zhu is now at all the plants instead of just one. So.
Right. Yes.
Well, actually, why don't we talk about that a little bit?
Okay.
So Tom Zhu, who used to be in charge of Shanghai and was in charge of the construction as well.
Yeah.
He was the head guy. He now has been, we heard about this, about he and his team coming over to Giga Texas, and they were helping the staff there ramp up Texas. And now we've heard that there is a job change for Tom, and he's now been assigned the the ability to be the head of operations and sales in both the U.S. and Europe. So
and service.
Yeah, and service. Yeah,
that's sales a big promotion.
Yes, and hopefully he can do some stuff with service because, I mean, it's inconsistent. It's being generous. Yes. Everybody I talk to seems to enjoy mobile service. I have nothing bad to say about mobile service, and from what I understand, the service in China seems to be at least what you expect, if not better. So if they can get them all to one consistent level, I'm looking forward to that. Plus his other assignments here.
I've always had good luck with service. I see occasionally these horror stories on whatever social media, and I'm like, wow, I'm glad I don't go to that service center.
Right, and that's something I've noticed is that it seems to be by location. Like, you know, these managers, these techs, these service writers are this level, and it'll vary around that. And then other locations, it's like they're up here, and sometimes you'll have like a horror story is, oh man, there was a thumbprint on my door handle on the outside. And others is like, oh man, you know, I brought it in for an oil change. They broke this and that, and it was in there for 3 months for not that there's oil change, but like the gear oil on the motor or something. Yeah, so something seemingly simple, and then horror story.
Right.
Yeah.
So obviously, Elon believes that Tom is the right guy for this job. To be given all this extra responsibility, that's a lot to take on. Like,
it is.
I understand that that Shanghai would be a monstrous task, but then to be assigned basically all of the plants and all the regions, that is a tall order. So
I don't know when he's ever going to sleep.
Yeah,
if you've got all those time zones.
From what I understand, he did the Elon thing, sleeping in the factory in China. So,
well, I hope Tom has started to put together a team that can help him out, because one man is not going to be able to cut it. He's going to have to promote some others to be the eyes and ears in these different regions and locations in order to be successful with this.
I think he's probably done that, because remember, Giga Shanghai sent teams to Austin and Fremont at the same time. I mean, they were a couple weeks apart, but they're both still there. So I was like, oh, that's saying something right there.
So, JT's joined the chat room. JT, you got to send us your vote in for production for 2023 for Tesla. So give us your number in the chat. We'll get you added to the spreadsheet.
Absolutely.
Next, Casey's going to handle a story about the people in the penalty box for FSD.
Penalty box. All right, so Tesla's done some things here with the penalty box. The timeout, the autopilot jail, the you got FSD and now you can't use it situation. One, they started detecting people using cheat devices, so weights on the wheels, etc. And two, they now will restore your access in about 2 weeks. If you strike out. So on a car with a camera, that's 5 times. On a legacy car, that's 3 times. And then in about 2 weeks, you can get it back.
What was the amount previous to this?
Forever. No, it wasn't forever. It was in between major builds of FSD Beta and whenever somebody got on Elon's nerves. And so it was sporadic at best, and definitely months and months in between. So now it's just approximately 2 weeks.
Although the phrase 2 weeks in Tesla talk doesn't necessarily mean...
That'd be funny as hell.
And when you add the word about, that's really makes it...
That would be funny as hell if they programmed Elon time into the car. So maybe make it 2 Mars weeks or something.
Oh, so JT's in for 2.5 million. Your vote has been recorded.
Nice. All right.
Very good. Yeah, so that is a interesting thing now, because do you feel that they had to make this change because FSD is becoming more and more mainstream, or that more and more people are on it and they had to have more concrete rules when it comes to it?
I think it was that, but I do appreciate that there's you're not waiting months in between, because especially now it's 15,000 for FSD, and I know this isn't FSD, this is FSD Beta. However, you let your significant other or a kid or somebody else borrow the car. They look at their phone for a second or whatever, and then all of a sudden you get the car back and it's locked out.
Actually, I would like that. I'd like to know that a relative was looking at their phone and got struck out. That would be a good thing to know, because I wouldn't want them driving my car anymore. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, there's that. Yeah. But it'd be nice if it was per profile, and maybe they'd send a report to the phone of the whoever's got an account on the car, like a proper owner account, like all access.
So
go ahead, Patrick.
Yeah, this is a feature people are paying a lot of money for. They need to know the rules. The rules need to be clearly defined, and they do have to strike a compromise between you want people to use it, but you don't want them to abuse it, and you have to have some way to walk that line, that not enabling their abuse. And I think this is a good compromise with clear, at least more clear rules.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're going to have to add to these rules as time goes along, because of course we are going to have the serial abusers. Once you get a whole bunch of people involved, we're at like 285,000 was the last number that was given. Once you get that many people involved, there's going to be a few bad apples in that batch. And
if the backseat bandit is out of jail, he'll be in there.
Right. So there's going to be people like that, and I wonder if the rules will change if this is your second or third or fourth strikeout. If there's going to be some more severe penalties for it, even though you've paid a lot of money to have it. Since this is beta and you had to sign an agreement that you agreed to pay attention at all times, and you decide to serially abuse that, you know, Tesla's the one that's going to get the black eye if some idiot gets in the car and tries to sleep in it, and for whatever reason the car goes off a bridge and crashes.
Or just the guy who on the Golden Gate Bridge who claims that the car moved over all the lanes and slammed on the brakes. The video doesn't look like that. The video looks like Navigate on autopilot to me. Although I still don't know why it was stopping,
and I don't know why he wouldn't press the accelerator.
That part,
yeah,
especially that part. But it didn't look like phantom braking. It looked like maybe like you've arrived at your destination. Here we go.
Right. It looks like it slowed down. I saw that video too. Yeah. And if you're behind the wheel, you're responsible, and be responsible, and don't abuse it. And if it tries to do something dumb, don't let it. If it says you need to stop in the tunnel when you're doing 65, don't. Right. There's a pedal there. You can use it. They don't turn those off.
Right. And also for you driving manually and anyone driving any other car, maybe put some actual following distance between you and every other car on the road, especially if it's a Tesla. Especially if Tesla is running perfectly centered in the lane.
What I will say though is that with the amount of people that are in this program now as FSD Beta, we're going to see more of this.
Oh, we will.
Because this group of people that are on here now are not the people that are trying to forward the actual programming. Right. These people are just trying it out and showing their friends. Like that's exactly what's going on.
I'm just glad that it was in California and that the cop knew what was going on and he called BS on it right away. He said, by the way, this is a level 2 program, and unless Tesla did something this morning I didn't notice, it's level 2, which means you'd be ready to assist. The driver should have accelerated. Well, everything we said as Tesla owners, the cop actually says. I don't know if the cop is a Tesla owner and he just wrote it in cop speak, or if they're just getting smarter about this. So either way, I was glad to see that he didn't dip into that media doom and gloom.
There's so many of them in California, they have to know those rules.
Right.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine that happened in like Nebraska or something.
Right. They'd be like, oh, really? Oh, yeah, these things are horrible. They would have just, totally believed the driver and blamed the tech, I'm sure.
We had a comment. Block these things.
From Ronald Miller in the chat there that says, where'd it go? FSD is so darn expensive and not worth it now. Yeah. And no one's forced to buy it. If you think it's too expensive and not worth it, then don't buy it. I mean, I've always felt even from AP1 that it was, well, AP1 wasn't that bad. It was $1,000 or $2,000, depending on, maybe $3,000, depending on when you bought it. I always felt that it was always just the price was one step ahead of the capabilities, and then as they added more, but raised the price, I was like, okay, that last price would have been good for what we just got. Yeah, there's a lot to be said for that. Yeah, and I've heard people saying, "Oh, they're getting ripped off." You don't have to buy it if you the capabilities that it has right now. You can make the choice: is that worth the value for money? And that all depends on how much disposable income you have, how interested you are in testing things early. It's totally your call. You're not forced to do it. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
And Ronald, you're right. There are more and more people that are doing crazy things with FSD because there's more and more people that have entered the program. Once Elon threw off the ability that you had to have a certain score, and they said, well, now anyone that's got a passing grade can join in. That's when this larger group of people that really don't care about it, it's okay. Maybe they care about it, but not to the degree the early guys did that were trying to get 100% on their score in order to get on it to help push it forward, to record the issues, to press that error button when they saw something going on that they didn't agree with. That's a different scope of person than what is getting on it today. So there are going to be issues with it, Ronald. We completely agree. And as I was saying, I think there's going to be more issues. Just as you mentioned, there's too many people that are doing crazy things, and I would agree with that statement somewhat.
Right, and that applies to anybody doing anything. If there's a whole subreddit, idiots in cars, and you can see people who have nothing to do with FSD being really dumb in their vehicle. So yeah, it's going to happen. That's for sure.
Yeah. And Ronald, if you want to add your vote to the production number, go ahead and put it in the chat. So how many cars will Tesla produce in 2023? Put in your number and we'll add you to the spreadsheet.
There you go.
Next, who's going to handle this? This was the wheel.
Me.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh yeah.
All right,
you have a yoke, right, Casey?
I have a yoke. Yeah, my car came with a round wheel. I switched it to a yoke. When you're ordering a car from Tesla, you go to the design studio. For the Model S and Model X, you can now choose for free to switch it from being a yoke to being a round wheel. You still get no stalks, and it still has the capacitive buttons everywhere. So the main complaints that people actually have about this thing are still there. But if the shape matters to you, you can get that for free. If you already bought the yoke and the shape still matters to you for some reason, you can get the round wheel for just $700 only.
And that includes the install at the service center, right?
That does include the install, and I bet you they take your old one away. Give me my parts.
They shouldn't. If you bought it,
they shouldn't.
Yeah,
they have a habit of doing that at Tesla.
Ask for your wheel back and
hang
it on your wall.
Right. What is that weird alien looking thing?
Yeah,
that's my yoke.
I've got room for a yoke right there on the wall.
I wonder if you buy an inventory model and it has the wheel, if they charge you $700 to switch back to the yoke.
Yeah,
I'm team yoke. I've towed for hundreds of miles with a yoke, so towing isn't any worse.
That's all it is, though. Really, with this wheel or yoke thing, it's getting used to it. Like if you buy into it and use it for a number of weeks, and that's the only car you drive, it's going to be an easy transition. If you're switching between different cars, then I could get it. That one day you're in a wheel car, the next day you got your yoke. It's going to be tougher to get the feel of it. But if you're in that car all the time, wheel or yoke, I think either way would be fine. It's just switching that may be an issue.
I was fluent from the middle of day one, so it didn't even take a couple of days.
Oh, cool. Just a few hours and you were good to go.
Exactly.
Last week, we talked a little bit about the IRA tax credit and the crazy rules that it comes to what a Model Y is. When a Model Y is an SUV and when a Model Y is not an SUV. And from the information collected over the past week, it looks like it's a weight issue. They're looking at it as a weight issue. And if you add the 7 seats, all of a sudden you're at an SUV at an $80,000 level. And if you've got 5 seats, then you're sitting at a $55,000 car level. So we talked about that there was a petition.
I think this one's mine, Mark.
Go right ahead.
Right. So this is coming to us from Teslarati by Simon Alvarez, and it's titled Tesla Supporters IRA EV Incentive Petition Reaches Over 44,000 Signatures. And I'll just read a little bit of this. Electric vehicle advocates were shocked by the IRS's list of qualified vehicles under the Inflation Reduction Act. As per the current list, some variants of the Model Y and the Ford Mustang Mach-E are not eligible for the $7,500 federal tax credit, even while plug-in hybrids like the Jeep Wrangler 4xe are, despite it having 20 mile per gallon equivalent and an all-electric range of just 21 miles. So the crux of the problem
doesn't count either as a full EV.
Yeah, the Lyric.
SUV
Yeah, that's a whole nother issue. So the part of the problem here is there's two categories. The first one is SUVs, trucks, and vans, and then the second one is all other, like sedans.
And then the categories don't match with the EPA, which is when everybody else hears SUV, they look at EPA, it says SUV. All right, here we go. This
exactly. Right. Yeah. So some Model Ys fall in the first group and some in the second, because that's not how cars are categorized. And so, personally,
the Model Y sedan. You bought the SUV, didn't you?
Right. Yes. This whole category thing should be eliminated. If I want to buy a $60,000 EV sedan and you want to buy a $60,000 EV truck, why should one be worth the incentive and not the other? Does one pollute more than the other? Does one make our national goals of electrification more than the other? No. So
it does, though. The one that they're not helping out does a better job of everything. The one that they're helping out uses more materials, puts more weight on the road, and it's like,
they tend to be more expensive, but still, that's not the part that needs to be incentivized. The incentive needs to be for getting EVs on the road, which if you want to have a price cap, I'm fine with that. $80,000 is a great price cap. If you want to have some other one, don't try to split it up by category. That was ridiculous. So this makes no sense to me, but last week, like Mark said, we covered this and we said, if you have thoughts about this, go sign that petition, contact your legislators, and a bunch of folks have done just that. There was a change.org petition which called the IRA EV tax credit system out and said it needs to be fixed. This has gained a lot of support. And just before the show, I went and checked it, and it had almost 55,000 signatures.
Wow.
There you go.
Yeah, to answer your question, Derek, they are exactly the same except for weight. And I don't even think they ride any different in height, like not even a fraction of an inch in ride height difference. Now, performance will ride short than the others.
So definitely be aware that the 7-seater is probably a better option because you will save a little bit of money and you get 2 extra seats. So even though you can fold them down and never use them again, you can definitely save a little bit by going the 7-seat way for now. David G, while we got you here, please give us your number for production in 2023 for Tesla. How many vehicles do you think that they will produce? And we'll add you to the spreadsheet.
And you got Ronald with 2 million, right?
Yep, got Ronald in at 2. Next, Patrick was going to handle Giga Texas.
I like that, Ronald.
Okay. Yes, so this one comes to us from Tesmania. It's by Eva Fox. Tesla receives more GigaPress parts for the Cybertruck. Woo-hoo.
Yay!
Yep.
Yeah. So the drone army, you can't get anything past the drone army. So Tesla Giga Texas has already started installing their 9,000-ton GigaPress. 9,000 tons. That's just hard to imagine. And the parts continue to arrive at the factory. More boxes from IDRA, however you want to say it, have arrived on site. And this is the long-awaited GigaPress with a clamping force of 9,000 tons, which will produce the rear single-piece cast of the Cybertruck. And so there's the images. Boxes of parts of this giant machine have been arriving in Texas for weeks. And the first one was spotted inside the factory in mid-November. Joe Tegmeyer on January 6th, part of the drone army, caught the long-awaited delivery from IDRA while flying over the facility with his drone. He spotted 2 trucks.
For his 3 millionth time.
Yes, he's out there a lot. He want to know what's going on.
He's out there every day.
Yeah, everybody needs a hobby. He's just drone flying. Yeah.
So the one that Mark is
cut
carrying
this
there,
non-Tesla semi, dropping off this load on a RGN trailer, which is a gooseneck trailer or double drop, some call. But this is definitely a heavy load based on the number of axles on that truck and the trailer.
Yeah, and then the extra trailer just so you get the extra axle.
Yeah.
Based on the length of this, I would suggest these are probably the steel runners we saw, like the rails that everything slides on, and then the smaller box is probably some more just heavy parts that go into this thing. And Patrick, you mentioned that it was kind of mind-boggling, the 9,000 tons, right? Well, how about there's a second one headed somewhere in Asia, according to the company. Let's take a look at this real quick here. Share screen.
Somewhere in Asia.
Somewhere in Asia.
Ominous.
But I mean, who else orders 9,000 ton gigapresses? The most we've seen from other companies has been like a subframe or some kind of wheel assembly. Like they haven't done whole cars
right
yet.
So interesting, because a company like this, they're not going to say which customer it's for, because that's up for the customer to make their own announcements about.
Look at the paint job. It looks exactly like the one that's getting delivered to Austin. And that was something we noticed on the first one, the paint job. And then look where it showed up.
Right. So yeah, most likely Tesla. But maybe
VW's changed their colors, Casey.
Somewhere in Asia.
I had that one ready to go.
BYD is white and red too, aren't they?
Maybe.
I've seen their logo in red and white. Who knows? Yeah. Who knows? But
do you care what color it is?
Got your vote.
Oh, cool. Pi million. I love it.
Wait, who said 5? I missed that one.
Mike.
David is.
Mike said 3.14. Pi. Oh, pi. You said pi. I heard 5.
No, pi million. Yeah. 3.14, 159.
That'd be funny as hell if they get close to it and they just actually do the whole as many as they can in pi.
And actually, David's vote is the same as last year, 2.2 million.
Yeah. He said ignore the recession. He's got this.
Definitely be it.
Definitely going to be a lot closer this year.
Yep, that's for sure. Next, Casey has got a story about Model Y.
Yeah, so the Model Y performance had a brake change, and they said it was the same performance. And then a couple weeks ago, or it happened a couple weeks ago, and then for the first time, somebody actually had one in their shop, and they noticed that on the right-hand side of this picture on my screen here is the previous performance brake, the Brembos. And on the left is the new performance brake when you remove the cover. What? A cover? Yes, they put a cover on the brakes so you wouldn't notice that they made this change. I think I would have been less insulted as a customer if they just made it like this and said, hey, brake change, blah, 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 same performance. And these are the rear brakes. They didn't change the fronts that we are aware of. I would have been less annoyed with it if they had just put it out there like that. Left it painted red for, so it matched the fronts, but to put the cover so it looked like the old one is just kind of, yeah. And so there's been a lot of back and forth about that this week on the Teslaverse. And some people are saying, oh, you don't even use the rear brakes. Other people are saying, yeah, I do. That's why I bought a performance. I take it to the track, blah, blah, blah. And so the next thing that we're going to see is a couple of the enthusiasts are getting together and they're organizing a test on the track to see if they can experience any difference in brake fade on the track at a club event or something to that effect.
Yeah, there's no point in getting all riled up about it until you have the data to say whether or not they perform as well. And
that's what these folks are saying, yeah.
Yeah, and the cover, it's got the Tesla logo on it. It, like you said, makes it look like the older brake, which has become part of the branding of the vehicle for the high-end one. So I can see why they did it to keep that look and feel and brand. So
on the front and then took it off the back with this new part. I mean, because look at how much weight they saved. They saved how many ounces of that metal or plastic cover on both sides of the car. I mean, if they can't afford to keep the phones in service, don't give me a fake cover.
Yeah, it's kind of. Did they really expect that no one would notice?
Oh yeah, everything.
Apparently they did, and it worked
was going to happen. Like it's I don't think they could have expected that people were going to notice by just changing the cover. Like someone was going to notice. Someone would take their tire off at some point and
hit it with the wheel and accidentally drop the wheel. Yeah.
So I don't think they were trying to purposely hide it, because how could you expect that all those cars, the most popular car, in the world, we believe in 2023, how could you not notice that the performance version had changed?
It took 2 months before anybody found out.
Still, like I just can't believe they were trying to pull the wool over our eyes, because there's no way that would have lasted. You're right. Maybe 2 months is a little bit longer than what you expected it should have happened in. But
I thought it would have been like the week of, like with something like this. I mean, you look at how many times somebody tells you like the headlight fender changed.
There's no way they could have believed that they were pulling the wool over everyone's eyes. Like it was gonna be called out.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and we say it all the time on this show. Tesla makes changes sometimes daily. So if you really wanted that part, you should have bought it when that's what they were using.
Right.
Otherwise, go get aftermarket and change it. If you're if that's what matters to you, because you take it to the track and you do whatever, then.
Right. I would say hold the pitchforks and let's see what these tests look like. Because we already see that Tesla says that they have the same performance. Depending on where and how they said that, they could get themselves into some hot water for outright lying. So let's find that out. And then the other thing I would say is if that matters to you, I would probably already be of the type to be changing my brake fluid and changing the whole braking system, as far as if regen wasn't enough, and if I was already getting the brakes hot enough that they fade, that this fender swap could do something. I would already want to get performance brakes on the car instead of stock. I mean, they are nicer than the base model, but is it nicer enough that if you take this to the track rather than just some spirited driving on the weekend?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the Model S. You got to buy, was it $29,000 of brakes to get them updated?
Wow.
Well, let's talk about another put on the brakes statement. Apparently, what happened recently is that Tesla decided to lower the price of the Model X. I'm sorry, the Model 3 and the Model Y in China dramatically.
Was it $5,000?
We had a 24% drop in the price, almost a quarter off. In the relative currency, right. But that has now become, of course, the cheapest place in the world to buy a Model 3 or Y when you compare apples to apples. This price drop was so dramatic that we know that in the end of the year push, which was happening everywhere, all across the world, they were offering discounts. The discounts in China were not as good as the discount that happened when they dropped the price the next day.
Yeah.
And there was so much demand when it was heard that Tesla had dropped the price of their vehicles that much. They've had over 30,000 orders flow in a couple days to push the delivery times up because now they're trying to deal with the backlog of people that are now waiting for vehicles. So they had it down to a couple weeks. Now it's back up to 6 weeks because
there's also a government incentive running out in China right now. So
correct.
you don't necessarily Tesla warned they were going to take the price back to normal. We don't before they dropped the price of the car. Like they had their own incentive, just like they had here in the States, trying to get people to stop waiting for the new year. They did something like that in China before they dropped the price. And so are they going to get rid of that program, or are they going to get rid of all of it and send it back to be in line with global? And so if you were trying to also do that while getting your government credit, you might be a little little bit like, am I gonna make it at the end of the line? Yeah,
people that are fairly upset that just hours before they had ordered their car and are paying significantly more.
Oh yes.
And Tesla just today in China has announced that those people are out of luck.
Well, if you haven't taken delivery yet, you can cancel your order, right?
You cancel the order, correct?
Yeah,
correct.
But then you pay the current price, which could be a savings for you, but also might mean that you are at the back of the line and you don't catch it for the government incentive. It's a dice roll right there, and
that's true.
Yeah.
And again, it's as we've said even in this show, if the car does what you want and you like what it is, get it now because it will change tomorrow, or it could change tomorrow. It's something that's the way Tesla operates. They're not model years that they wait for everything to happen in a 3-day period that changes every year, once a year, and you only have to care about that model change. No, they change it all the time. Incrementally, it's modified as parts run out, as they find new processes and procedures that makes the car better. It all changes. So with Tesla, unlike other legacy auto car companies, you've got to make up your mind that the price and the type of vehicle is what you want at that time, and you make your best judgment call and pull the trigger.
Yeah. Right. The price could have just as easily gone up, and then they would all be like, "Yeah, I got such a good deal." So
and like Elon says, if the price goes up, are you gonna cut me another check?
Right, of course not.
And right, that part. But this isn't unheard of in the industry. This is standard for all car sales. You missed the new sale that came out on Tuesday. You bought on Monday. Oh well, sucks to be you. Sometimes they might throw in, all right, here's a tote bag that matches your car, whoever made it, and just to ease the sting a little bit. But they're not gonna actually give you back any money most of the time.
Right.
Occasionally, somebody like Tesla and like every now and then GM or Ford will do it, but it's very rare that they'll give you back cash. You'll have to either reverse the sale, or like the case of these people, if you just don't take delivery. But that's a gamble. Like there's a reason the price went down. And then there's something you were trying to do. Were you trying to get that incentive? You might get no incentive. You might not get the lower price or the government incentive. Because we saw in the U.S. some of the folks who were just down to the wire, and like there was an ice storm that delayed the delivery of their car. Tesla said, "All right, give us back the $3,750 or the $7,500, depending on who we were talking about on that truck." And they got pissed. It's like, you want money back? And Tesla said, well, the agreement was deliver the car by midnight on December 31st. And now the truck's not going to be there till January 4th. So give us back our money.
Yeah. So you make your own decision based on what you're getting for your money. And if it's a good deal and you agree to it, then have no regrets and don't look back and don't look at what the price is the next week, because you've already decided, yes, that was worth it for me. So be happy about it. You're going to get an awesome vehicle.
It's bad enough if you look and see what they've changed on the car after you. I mean, some of it you're like, haha, I still have lumbar support. But then you look again like, oh man, I don't have a octo valve, or I don't have a super bottle. Those are a little bit easier to get over, but man, do not look at those dollar signs or whatever your local currency is.
I got one of the last AP1 vehicles. I mean, I got it in September of 2016, and then the very next month is when they were shipping the ones that were out. But that's okay. I still got a great car, and I've enjoyed it for almost for 7 years now. So
yeah, well, mine was on the truck. They canceled the color. They canceled unlimited internet. They canceled free supercharging.
Oh wow!
But my order was in and it was locked in, so I got all that.
Yep.
Nice.
It would have been hard to take the color back, but I could see them taking the other two things back.
Yeah. Tougher with the color. You can live with the color.
We took your diamond flakes back out. You got free black now.
Well, that's great. Let's wrap it up this week. I know I've got one story left, but we're kind of running short on time here for the hour. Casey, any shout outs for this evening?
So over at youtube.com @Casey Green, I do have some pretty long shows that are like this. Sometimes it's just me. Sometimes it's some folks will show up, and it's not just Tesla, but that's what I drive, so it's easiest for me to find. But it's all about green life, green living. Off the grid, green policies, other cars, what you can do to save a little bit of money, that sort of thing. And you can catch that over on my show on Sundays at 1:10 Eastern in the afternoon.
Very good, very good. Patrick's got a site that he put up a post recently. What's that about, Patrick?
That's right, carswithcords.net. You can, for everybody who guessed, it'll be an exciting year to see what happens. And I've got a bunch of the data on there that helped me come to my number. And so you can check that out there. And as always, I'm with the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association. You can find us at oeva.org. Thanks a lot.
Very good, very good. If you haven't already, please give us a thumbs up on the video. Press that subscribe button. It helps us out immensely. We would really appreciate it. Also, if you haven't sent in your bid as to what Tesla will do production-wise in 2023, add it to the notes on this video, and I will go through and take a look a few days from now and add anyone that would like to add their vote to the spreadsheet for next year's production 2023 video that will happen about the first of the year. So get your vote in. We'll see who is closest to the actual production number as we did this year. And with that, we thank you all, and please come back next Wednesday, and together we'll find out what's happening in the Tesla life.
Indeed.
Stay positive, test negative.
There we go.
Have a great week, everyone.
Indeed.
Future free from fossil fuels.
Yeah.
You got it in. You got it in.
Electrify all the things.